Imagine rebuilding a dying company from the ashes, only to watch someone else claim your legacy as their own. Years later, karma gave me a chance to speak the truth. And trust me, I took it. If you've ever been stabbed in the back by someone you trusted, or watched a fraud succeed while you struggled in silence, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready. Because this isn't just a revenge story. It's a cold, calculated dose of justice. 10 years ago, I walked into a company that was practically on life support. 50 employees had already been reduced to just 3. The atmosphere was bleak, desks sat empty like gravestones. The air itself felt heavy with failure. But I saw potential. Beneath the dust and despair was a machine that could be rebuilt, precision by precision. I rolled up my sleeves. We specialized in high precision, custom small batch parts, niche but high value. And with the right systems, I knew we could make it thrive again. I restructured everything, cut unnecessary steps, scrapped outdated processes, invested in automation, modern tooling, and lean protocols. It was brutal, but it worked. Within 2 years, we were pulling in $10 million in revenue. Our goal? $100,000 profit per employee. And for a while, we crushed it. In the early stages of this turnaround, I hired a guy I'll call Bob. He wasn't a superstar, not terrible either, somewhere in the Bay's middle. You know the type. The guy who does just enough to survive, but never enough to stand out. Bob had a few solid skills, mostly in hands-on production, but he lacked big-picture thinking. No leadership instincts, no strategy. Still, we made it work. But as the company grew, so did the expectations. And Bob stayed the same. Eventually, I had to make a tough call. To maintain our goals, every person needed to be efficient, forward-thinking, and multi-skilled. Bob wasn't cutting it. I didn't ambush him. I gave him 2 months' notice, told him I'd give him a glowing review for the things he was good at, but I wouldn't lie about the things he wasn't. I even told him he could use work time for interviews if needed. And to his credit, Bob kept showing up. He didn't slack. But again, low bar. Eventually, Bob found another job. I was glad. He didn't use me as a reference, which I found interesting. He ended up landing at one of our partner companies. Whatever. Clean break. Fast forward a couple of years. Business is booming. I'm flying out to visit one of our partner companies on a joint project. I walk into the room, and there he is. Bob, smiling like he just won the lottery, standing next to my contact at the company, a guy I'll call Charlie. We shake hands. Small talk. Performative grins. Then Charlie turns to me and says something I'll never forget. You were so lucky to have Bob back then. The stuff he did, man, it really got you guys out of a mess. I froze. My brain had to double take. What did he just say? Charlie went on, casually, like he was reading a weather report. Yeah, he told us how he restructured the systems, streamlined production, automated bottlenecks. That whole transformation, incredible work. My jaw clenched, because every single thing Charlie was crediting Bob for was my work. Work Bob barely understood, let alone executed. And then, as if to toss me a crumb, Charlie added, well, I'm sure a guy until helped too. Helped. The blood drained from my face. I felt like I was watching someone rewrite history, with my name in the footnotes. But I didn't say a word, just smiled and said, I'm glad Bob found a good fit. Inside, I was seething, but I swallowed it, walked away, let it go, for the moment. I eventually left the company, on my own terms. Moved on to a new venture, new challenges. I stayed friends with the general manager I'd hired to take over. Great guy, capable, honest. The industry took some hits, COVID, global shifts, but the company survived. I was proud of what I'd left behind. And as for Bob, well, Bob lost his job. Honestly, I was surprised he'd lasted that long. And then, it happened. One day, I get a call from the new GM, my old friend. He tells me they are hiring for a senior role. Prestigious. High pay. High visibility. And guess who just applied? Bob. Not only that, Bob claimed to have been a key figure in the turnaround of the company. He listed achievements that sounded awfully familiar. In fact, They sounded like my achievements. The GM was impressed, nearly convinced. He called me to double-check, and I paused, not because I was unsure, but because for the first time, I had a choice. And then I told him everything. I laid it out, Bob's real contributions, the limits of his skill set, the nature of his departure. No anger, no exaggeration, just the truth. The GM thanked me for the context. And Bob, he didn't get the job. I don't know exactly how he reacted, but I like to imagine that moment. The email that never came, the silence from a company he thought he had in the bag. I imagine him sitting there, wondering what went wrong. And I smile, because for once, the truth was enough. After all those years, after he stole my credit, rewrote history, and nearly got rewarded for it, I didn't need to plot or manipulate or destroy. I just had to tell the truth at the right time. And it was enough to stop him cold. There's something satisfying about that. Not screaming, not vengeance, just reality snapping back into place. Karma doesn't always show up fast. It doesn't always show up loud. But sometimes, if you're patient, it shows up at just the right moment. And when it does, it's better than any revenge you could have planned. If this story hit you in the gut, or gave you that rush of justice, smash that like button, subscribe for more, and tell me in the comments, have you ever seen karma show up when it mattered most? Thanks for watching. And remember, the truth